Alright guys, so first we will actually talk about couple of the questions in your case studies, and then we'll get into the actual review. So I posted the reviews already, but we'll first talk about some of the, not all, some of the case study questions from exam 1. So open that file if you have access to it. Alright, so the first question, the first case study is on PTH, basically on the endocrine system, right? So it is talking about a person who is suffering from calcium disorder, okay? And then what is the hormone that is regulating it, or how it is regulated, more importantly, like that. So let's first begin with question number 2. What is PTH? What is its function, and how is it carried out? What is PTH? What's the full name of PTH? Parathyroid hormone. And next part is, what is its function? What does it do? When your blood calcium level is low, right? So it releases calcium or increases calcium level. Now tell me, what are the ways that it will do it? And also related to that in question 3, that which organ systems PTH will really target in order so that it can release calcium or increase calcium in your body? Skeletal system. And how will it do that? Yes, so basically it will try to use osteoclast to release calcium in the blood. The next system? Bone is the obvious one. Why? Because calcium is stored in bone. So skeletal system, yes. What are the other 2 systems? Kidneys. So urinary system. So how will it do that? I mean, what actually really happens in kidney so that we can get back some calcium? What's the function of kidney?
They can retain more material with the calcium.
So when we are filtering blood, we try to the kidney will try to retain more calcium through calcium reabsorption. Okay, calcium reabsorption. What's the third one? Think of another input we get calcium from. What is that?
Would it inhibit the thyroid hormone?
No, it's think about a direct source. You're thinking completely very indirectly. Yeah. Digestive system. Why? Because we eat food and that has calcium, right? So what will it do? It will try to reabsorb calcium from food. The intestinal cells will try to reabsorb calcium from food. So 3 systems: digestive, urinary, and skeletal system. This actually you should have read about this in your 208 bones and skeletal system chapter. If you don't remember, go back and review these homeostatic pathways over there. And of course it's also in endocrine system. So 2 or 3 is kind of related to each other. All right, we'll go into the next one. It's about anemia. Iron deficiency, which is anemia. Okay, talk to you about question number 5. Okay, so this question is a little bit like I need to tell you a couple of things about that, then it will be easier for you. It's a little complicated question. So it says that the values collected from a CBC, which is a complete blood count, is just 1 second. Values collected from a CBC, which is a complete blood count, can reveal a great deal of information about a patient's health. Alright, so this information can be broken down into broad 3 categories which are listed below, which I did not give you, I'm going to give it to you right now. For each 3 categories, list all the CBC values that would provide the information on that aspect of the patient's health. So what I'm asking here, I'm going to give you the 3 categories. What you will have to tell me what kind of pathological test that you might do in order to check those 3 things. So for example, the first one is, because this is we are talking about anemia oxygenation status, so the first thing will be oxygen carrying capacity or oxygenation status. Okay, so the first criteria or the first category will be oxygenation status or oxygen carrying capacity. So what are the ways you can figure out your blood's oxygen carrying capacity? What pathological test, what molecules you will be testing? What can you test to know that your blood's oxygen carrying capacity is good? Yes?
Would you test the iron?
And how will you do that?
See how many oxygen molecules bind to the iron?
Well, iron level, yeah, iron can be present, like if you test the blood iron level, yes, but then iron is the only one who is responsible for carrying oxygen. There's a special molecule or a special cell. Within that cell, there is a special molecule that will carry the oxygen. Iron is a part of that system. So what cell you will first measure? Hemoglobin is the cell or the RBC is the cell? RBC. So basically you will do hematocrit testing, RBC cell counting or RBC volume. So that will tell you how much even RBC you have. So if you have adequate RBC, means your oxygenation status is probably okay. RBC count, and then also you can do hemoglobin or iron testing, all of that, iron testing. Alright, the second one will be, because this is like CBC blood count, the second thing that is checked in CBC is your immune status, like if you have any infection, okay, if you kind of have any infection. Now tell me what kind of cells in general or specifically you can count in your blood that will tell you about your infection status. White blood cells, specifically, one specific example. Neutrophils. Also basophils could be. Basophils also tells us about allergies, right? Allergy infection. So basophils also one, not a good bad idea to check basophils as well. The third category will be hemostasis, or basically how much blood can clot, because that is also an important thing for in case if you have blood loss. And what count or what kind of testing you will do to know that? Platelet count. Awesome. So RBC, WBC will not tell us anything about it. So then we'll have to do platelet count. So 3 things, okay, 3 for 3 cells. First we are doing the oxygenation status with RBC, immune status with WBC, and then clotting status with platelets. All right. The next one is about heart. Heart. So it's talking about congenital heart diseases. Okay. All right. So we'll go to question number 4. That's the most important question. Question number 4 is asking that Caleb's heart, this person in concern, allows mixing of oxygenated, deoxygenated blood. Okay. So based on your knowledge of the heart and the vessels, remember, Describe the anatomical abnormalities that can cause of mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So one abnormality you will tell me about based on the anatomical problem in the heart itself, and one related to the vessels. First, anatomical problem that can happen where oxygenated deoxygenated blood can mix. It has to be in the chambers. That's a clue. Foramen ovale. The other one, there's another one. Exactly, the septal defect. So the first one, foramen ovale, means the two atrium are connected. So that can be there. And also the septal defect means there is a gap in the two septum. So means the ventricles are connected. So that's a chamber. So tell me about the one that is related to blood vessels. That there is also a issue that can happen as a congenital birth problem where the vessels are connected and then these two blood can mix. What vessels can stay connected? Think about the main two vessels that carries oxygenated and deoxygenated blood directly in or out from the heart. What's the main vessel that carries deoxygenated blood from out of the heart? Pulmonary trunk. And what's the vessel that takes out oxygenated blood from the heart directly? Have you heard about that these two are connected in fetal condition? What is that called? Ductus arteriosus. So if that still remains connected as after being born, then of course there will be mix of oxygen and deoxygenated blood. Okay? You don't have to list both septal defect and foramen ovale. Any one is fine, but the vessel one is just the one I told you, ductus arteriosus. Alright. The fourth case study is varicosities, and I did talk about varicosities a little bit on last class. So it simply means inflammation of veins, especially in the lower extremities. It should not be a very complicated one, it's an easy one. Any other questions you have in the case studies? Because the questions that I discussed right now, these are the main questions, and others you can work around, I'm sure. These questions will help you also study for the exam, so do take a look into them before you when you're studying for the exam. All right.